Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts in an Answer Questions episode, even though I got one question, but hey, what can you do? Alright, this question comes from John from South Sioux City, Nebraska. He actually asked me, what's the difference between Epidendrosaurus and Epidexipteryx? Before I actually answer this question, let's actually look at the two animals in terms of their time period. Let's actually look at they are from the late Jurassic period, nearly the same time, and it nearly seems like they're pretty close to time range, but Epidexipteryx actually is around much longer than Epidendrosaurus. And also, since that they actually have different sizes. One is basically 6 inches long, and the other one is actually over a foot long. So that actually puts a size difference into it. Now, even though they almost have the same name, but they're entirely different dinosaurs. One is actually very arboreal, meaning that it actually lives in the trees and can live in the trees most often. And the other is actually more ground dwelling, but can climb trees if it can. Epidexipteryx is actually more ground based, more living on the ground, and it can climb trees whenever it felt like it. And it has those really weird elongated fingers, and you see, when you look at it, it's just like the weirdest thing you can actually see. And also the skull is just so weird, and the teeth are so weird. The teeth are actually just like little pegs at the front. They don't really have back teeth whatsoever, and also they have a very short tail. Now, Epidexipteryx is actually, if any of you are actually dinosaur TV lovers like I am, it was actually shown in the BBC series Planet Dinosaur. It was actually in the Feathered Dragons episode, and you see, since the fossil of this dinosaur is actually kind of pretty interesting, since they actually know that it actually has elongated fingers, and also has a very short skull and a short tail. But also, it actually has some proto-feathers on it, and it actually shows that on the tail, it actually has like 3 branched tail feathers, which is very interesting. They're probably used for display, and probably to warn off, basically like for males to show who's got the brightest feathers and all that kind of stuff, and also for males to possibly to attract a female to actually say look at me, And when we look at Epidendrosaurus, it's actually a small dinosaur, and it actually is very arboreal, living in the trees. And also, it's probably with both Epidexipteryx and also Epidendrosaurus, they're probably insectivorous. And you see, they're actually their diet is mainly going to be insects, insect larvae, that kind of stuff. And when you actually saw Planet Dinosaur, Epidexipteryx is actually using its elongated fingers to actually hook the insect larvae that is actually living in the trees. And so that is actually pretty useful to actually use, especially if you got those elongated fingers to tap in the tree bark to see if there is any like hollow spaces where it can actually find those insect larvae. Now with Epidendrosaurus, since there's not a lot of evidence to prove that it could fly, but it does actually have some pretty well-developed feathers. There are some proto-feathers on it, but on the arms, you can see it has some elongated feathers. I don't know if it could possibly fly, but it could. Maybe it could. Maybe it wouldn't. would probably suggest that it's probably one of the first dinosaurs to actually hop from branch to branch in the trees. And so I would say that Epidendrosaurus is a little bit faster than Epidexipteryx. And so when you actually look at these dinosaurs, they're very different in terms of their size, the feather structure, and also to the skeletal structure as well. And since that probably one was actually kind of almost ready to have powered flight, and the other one is actually just a little bit more ground dwelling and can actually climb trees a little bit, but would actually be more ground-based. Epidexipteryx, ground-based. Epidendrosaurus, arboreal type of dinosaur. Now, since on Facebook, I did actually say that I'm actually making an announcement for next week's episode, for next week's special episode of Prehistoric Facts. Now, I am actually going to be talking about a dinosaur that you would like me to talk about, but I'm actually looking for a specific type of dinosaur this time, and I'm actually going to do a tyrannosaur. So I'll actually give you a list of tyrannosaurs that you would think that you would like me to talk about. Despledosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex are off because I already did episodes of those two dinosaurs, so it would actually be well fitting before I actually go to the Black Hills. I would actually do a special episode about tyrannosaurs to actually get me all ready to go on this trip, and so that would actually make me feel a little bit better. But since I will actually give more specific details about what's going to happen for the Black Hills trip next week, so hopefully you guys can actually still send me questions about dinosaurs and prehistoric animals by emailing me at dinocris71@gmail.com, and also you can actually post the questions in the comments section of a Facebook post on the Facebook page Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris, and also you can follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL, and you can continue to send me questions anytime you want. And that's it for now. Make sure to take care of the people around you, and also for younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. Those are the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education, because with a good education, you get a good job in the future. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.